guys, this is Legendarma TV. It's great to see you again. Today we're gonna be talking about compositing. Compositing is one of the things that is incredibly important for everybody. And today I'll show you why. There is a lot of things tied to compositing, so let's go through the list and see what you can do there. Please enjoy. Once you reach Season 3, you will actually unlock compositing. And to be able to find it, you have to go to Row Chest and find Magician Guild, and you need to talk with Diane. Now, she's an expert in compositing, and you will also have a quest that will briefly explain what you can do through it. However, I still don't really like these in-game tutorials. They're quite rough and they really lack a lot of information. So let's talk about the things that compositing can do one by one. So we talk to Diane, we go to Item Composite, and there is going to be 4 different tabs. Now let's start with the first one, Item Composite. This is basically a window where you can create gear. Now in Vindictus, whenever it comes to Season 3 and all the relevant armors and weapons, they are divided onto tiers, 90, 95, 100, 105, and then very soon KR is going to have 110, and we will too, one day, hopefully. So, how does composite works in this game? You ever played or ever had Lego Constructor, right? And you probably actually had an opportunity to actually step on a piece of Lego, right? Which, would probably be a very bad experience. Anyway, whenever you want to create, let's say, a weapon, you need 5 different pieces. You need a weapon essence, if it's a weapon, or a armor essence, respectively. So if it would be a helmet, you need a helm essence. And you will also need different types of stones. So once you assemble them all together, you will be able to actually create a weapon or armor piece. So let's say I have a sterile weapon essence, right? And for the weapon, you need a keen, stable, lightweight, and perfect stones. They differently, each tier differently calls it. Level 90 is shards, level 95 is chunks, level 100 is ores, and level 105 is succession shards. You can only figure out that probably 1 in 10 is going to be succession chunks, because originality, right? So you can create weaponry and stuff here. However, I really don't recommend doing that, because whenever you create a piece of gear through compositing, it always goes 2 stars. Plus you have to pay a ridiculous fee of gold, which is 350,000. It's rather easier to actually give these ingredients, these materials, to your friend or someone that you know from your guild, so they can actually craft it through crafting, because crafting also can increase the amount of stars on the item. Compositing doesn't. It just creates it. It creates it super fast, as you can see right here. It's almost instantly, so I wouldn't really recommend it. However, this tab is still there, so if you are if you don't have anyone to craft you anything, you can access Item Composite and create yourself some gear. Next tab is going to be Material Synthesis, and Material Synthesis is extremely important. Like, oh my god, it's super important. So, what does synthesizing allows you to do? It allows you to upgrade your weapon even further. Let's say you've created a Militian weapon. Militian weapon and all the succession shards, whenever you drop them and you put them on your weapon, they will always have minimum rolls. The weapon usually has attack and attack speed, keen is balance and crit, stable is balance and secondary stats, which is like strength and intel, lightweight is crit plus speed, and the perfect is attack plus the secondary stats. Now you can upgrade these stats, and this is where it is so important, because you need more attack speed and critical, and synthesis allows you to do so. So if you want to increase your attack, right, or magic attack, we choose the Militian's Essence weapon, for example. we click on the magic attack and select synthesis. And here it will show you what kind of materials you need to be able to synthesize it and increase the attack or the critical or balance or secondary stats on your weapon. So you just pay all these materials plus some gold fee, of course, and it will increase the magic attack by 10. You will also see what is the current value of it and the synthesis max value. So you will know that when are you gonna max out your piece in the weapon. So you just continue gathering materials and slowly upgrading your weapon, upgrading the critical rate, the balance, once it's completely maxed out. Once you max out a piece in your weapon, or would that be an armor, you will unlock such thing that is called attack surplus. Now attack surplus is a damage modifier, but it's a little bit tricky. I will explain it a little bit more in a upcoming stat explanation video, so you don't really need to worry about it too much. Focus on increasing the attack on the essence, of course, because it's a huge jump right here. You gain, what, like almost 1000 attack just from the weapon essence. Also work on the perfect, because it also gives extra attack on top. And then work on the critical, balance, and attack speed on the rest of the shards or ores, whichever weapon you have. Synthesis is incredibly important. It basically raises your stats. Yes, you will need to grind for all these materials because every upgrade is going to cost you some materials. For Militia, it's going to be new era mats, as you saw, and Paradise for Astera. So keep on doing that. It's going to be quite costly, but it's going to be an immense freaking boost to your stats. Next tab is replacing composite. Now, why is replacing composite comes after the synthesis in my guide? Because let's see, let's say for example you've created a Astera weapon here, right? And Astera pieces, whenever you drop them and then you assemble the weapon with them, they always have mid rolls, while Militia has minimum rolls, right? So you probably figured it out that upgrading and synthesizing each piece is quite costly. So every upgrade that you're gonna do to the ore, like keen or stable or perfect, it's gonna cost you materials and so on. Now, sometimes we have events which, whenever you complete them and you gather some stuff that you exchange in the exchange shop, they have boxes where you can choose max rolled either stones, right, or essences. Why replacing composite is very important here. So let's say the event gives you a maxed perfect shard, right? A perfect ore. And you never touched it, you never synthesized it. So in order to max out that perfect ore, you will need to spend a huge amount of materials every upgrade, right? So every 10 attack or magic attack is going to cost you. So it's going to be a lot, correct? And you have this max rolled stone from the event. You can actually replace it, replace your current one, which is mid rolls, right, that you never touched, and put a stone from the event, which is max rolled. Yes, you will have to pay a little bit of materials here, but it's gonna be incredibly less than what you would pay if you would just maximize it on your own manually. So this is where replacing gets very handy. So if you get a maxed rolled stone or piece, you can actually replace it in your weapon without any penalties or anything, and you just pay the what they ask you, and that's it. It gets replaced. Your mid-rolled perfect legendary ore, for example, gets replaced with a maxed perfect legendary ore, so you don't need to worry about synthesizing it ever again. And that's how replacing works. It's really great, but it gets you get that very rarely, because not all the events hand out these. So keep in mind, but that tab is present, and it comes very handy whenever you get these maxed roll pieces. Dismantling. Now, dismantling sounds quite funny, because we don't really want to destroy things, right, in Vindictus, because we've been grinding for all that stuff. However, sometimes we actually do need that. Now, if you watch closely to the material synthesis tab, you need such items called sealed power fragments and inherited fragments. Now, these come only after you dismantled certain pieces. If you dismantle essences, would that be level 90, level 95, which is Dullahan, or Astera, or Militian, whenever you dismantle a piece right here, you will gain 25 sealed power fragments. This is the item that comes solely from dismantling the essences. And whenever you're going to be dismantling ores or succession shards, which I don't recommend doing. I don't recommend dismantling succession shards, rather just sell them. Whenever you dismantle, let's say, Astera ores, you're going to get inherited power fragments. These are needed in synthesizing, and you will need a lot of them, so make sure whenever you don't need these pieces, you just keep on dismantling them. And that's about it. Now, there is also one thing here in the dismantling tab, which is dismantle composited item. Now, this gets a little bit harder here. Why? So, let's say you have a old weapon, right, that you're not using anymore, and let's say you synthesized shards into it, which is mysterious shards for a weapon. If you want to get your mysterious shards back, you actually need to dismantle that item. No any other way around. And there is also this little slot right here. This slot is for extraction rune. Now, extraction rune only comes from the web shop. It costs roughly $20, and you can get it anywhere else, only through the web shop, only with real cash. Extraction rune allows you to get all the stuff back, so you get 100% scrolls that you had on the weapon that you were dismantling. You get the materials that you spent on the synthesizing, plus the gold, plus the power fragments and sealed power inherited power fragments and sealed power fragments that was used in that weapon. So whenever you're going to be dismantling an old weapon that you're not using and you want to get back your mysterious shards, just use it without the rune. If you want to get extra, like the scrolls, for example, you had, you had a Militian weapon, right? And it had brutal enchant scroll on it. Brutal is quite costly, right? So if you don't really want to sacrifice it and just lose it permanently, you can use the extraction rune and extract the 100% scroll, so you can use it on your future weapons. So TLDR, dismantling a composited item only comes in handy whenever there is a new set of armor and weapons, and you choose to upgrade to it. So whenever you maxed your old weapon, let's say it's going to be Militian, right? And then 110 comes out, and you decide to go 110. You go to Dianan, you put your weapon, and you dismantle it. You get your mysterious shards, for attack star plus back, so you can actually resynthesize them into the 110, or if you need also scrolls and the gold that you spent on top of that, you can actually purchase the extraction rune and extract all this stuff from the item. And one more little trick that will actually make your life a little bit easier. You don't actually, whenever you need to access the compositing or, synthesizing, you don't actually need to run to Dianan every time. Whenever you get a essence or a stone, right, you can actually right-click on any of them, and it will open the composite tab right here. And these are all the tabs that you've seen in the video: compositing, replacing, synthesis, and dismantling. And you can choose whenever you want to do. This is quite helpful. Not a lot of people know about it, but it saves you some time and some headache. So you can access Dianan herself remotely right here. So at first glance, this video guide might look and sound quite complicated. So let's have a little quick summary here. Composited item. You composite an item whenever you don't have anyone to actually be able to craft you, so you can just do it fast and just make it 2 stars and just roll with it. Replacing composite. Now replace the stones whenever there is event with max roll stats, so you eliminate the need of spending a lot of materials and gold manually upgrading it through synthesis. Material synthesis, work on that, it's quite important. It boosts your stats, it boosts your attack, it boosts your defense, it boosts critical, attack speed, and balance, everything that you need in your future raids. And dismantling. Dismantle the essences and the stones, ores, keen, perfect, whatever, to make yourself some sealed power fragments and inherited power fragments that you will need in synthesizing. And dismantle the composited item whenever there is a new set of gear rolling out and you decide to go for it. So you can just acquire back all the stuff that you had on your old weapon, and you can just use these materials after dismantling to start working on your new weaponry or armors. That's it, let's get to conclusion. And that's it for today, covering compositing. It might be quite complicated. I agree with that. I actually spent some time myself whenever I got introduced to compositing, but very, very soon, very fast, you will realize that it's actually not too hard to understand. Thank you so much for watching. This was Legendarma TV. Please subscribe to YouTube channel, join my Discord, stop by Twitch as always. Love you guys 3000. Please stay safe, be safe, and I see you very soon.